Yes, guys, welcome back to more GBFC. The Saturday matches have not failed to disappoint. Everton have gone to the City Ground and beaten Nottingham Forest by a single goal to nil. Man City 2-0 down at the Etihad at home to an informed Crystal Palace, and yet somehow they've obliterated them 5-2. Aston Villa have gone to Southampton. They've won 3-0. And it is a bumper afternoon of Premier League football already. You had your predictions video earlier. This one, we are going to talk about teams that are playing with no fear. And we're going to talk about a Nottingham Forest side who maybe are starting to show signs of bottling it in the race for the Champions League. This is what the table looks like. Nottingham Forest still sitting pretty with 57 points, but Man City now into the top four with 55. Aston Villa with another big win, 4 on the spin for Unai Emery's men in the Premier League, 54. Chelsea dropped to 6th and Newcastle with 2 games in hand. I'm telling you now, it might be over in the title race. We've got Arsenal-Brentford to come in a moment. The relegation scrap, it may also be over. But this race for the Champions League places is going to go down to the wire. So if you're enjoying it already, smack a like on this video and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the content about any of your clubs in the run-in to the end of this season. But I think we should start by talking about Nottingham Forest. And I want to ask Forest fans here, surely you're a little bit worried now, because Aston Villa last week, there was that lapse of concentration. If we bring that game up again, you can see here, early doors, 2 goals conceded. Something we've not been really used to seeing this season from Nottingham Forest is shutting off and having moments of weakness at the back. And then in the end, against a very strong Villa team that are competing for those same positions, they didn't have enough in the second half. Today, I mean, look at this. For Everton, they've gone away from home and they've absolutely dominated them. We know that Nottingham Forest don't have much possession in any of their matches. Today, in this one, they had 42% of the possession, but they didn't do anything with it. And if we take a look at the actual starting 11s here, 4-2-3-1, Jota, who I actually think changed the game, in Forest's favour in that second half last week at Villa Park. He actually started today with Anthony Elanga on the bench. And you can see here that Nuno decided after 59 minutes, with the game still in the balance at 0-0, he was going to take a bit more of a risk and maybe go with Elanga. But if you take a look at the average positions here of the players throughout the entirety of this match, as you can see with Nottingham Forest, very compact in the middle. Everton, very compact in the middle. This was a game that was very tactical. It was 2 teams kind of biding their time, waiting for opportunities. And in the end, this Everton team just really did dig deep. Decore, who got himself a yellow, he got the winning goal. It's a counter-attack, and it's quite simply magnificent, really. And just a little word on Everton here, because obviously we're focusing on the teams battling and challenging here for the top 4. But for Everton, right, they're going to stay up. If we take a look at where they are in the table, they are now above Tottenham. Tottenham go down to 15th. We love to see it. Everton are 14th in the league. They've only lost 1 of the last 5. For Everton, it's about making sure they finish the season strong, carry some momentum with David Moyes into their new stadium. But today, we've got to focus on this Nottingham Forest team, because my question in the video earlier today was, are they going to be able to keep going? Is it going to be a drop-off? And to lose 2 in a row suggests to me that there's a bit of fear in there. It suggests to me that in this uncharted territory of, yes, they're going to have an eye or 2 eyes on the FA Cup semi-final, a chance to win a major trophy. And if they win that, they're in the Europa League anyway. So is it going to be now that they just don't have the legs with this team between now and the end of the season? From what I saw today, they didn't really create anything. Like, if we look at the momentum, there's really nothing there. And in terms of big chances, no big chances, an XG of less than 0.5, whereas Everton, not the most attacking side, but at least they created 2 big chances and had an XG of 1.3 with 13 shots. Saves again from both goalkeepers. It was an entertaining 0-0. And I was like, I think I'm still going to make the same video, whether this finishes 0-0. And in the end, Everton scoring that goal has really blown this top 4 race open a little bit. And if we take yet another look, let me just quickly move these over so that you can see it a little bit closer. Nottingham Forest now, with 2 back-to-back defeats, momentum's everything at this time of the season. Man City know it. They're always the late pushers. And they have got a big win today. We're about to talk about them in a second. Aston Villa. But I think we should start there, shouldn't we? Because, look, we expected Aston Villa today to go out there and beat flipping Southampton, didn't we? And they did it with ease in the second half. This is the team. You see Yuri Tielemans again with an 8.8 rating. I told you, even though Aston Villa did get beaten by Paris Saint-Germain, this guy, he's still the man for Aston Villa. Another brilliant performance from him. Goals scored, Ollie Watkins, Donyell Marland, great signing, John McGinn. But look, let's be honest. They were always going to win this game, Aston Villa. Southampton are already relegated. They've got nothing to play for. The worst team in Premier League history. So that sees Aston Villa go 5th. And we got to move it again. Sorry, hang on. We got to move it here. Aston Villa now 5th in the Premier League, ahead of Chelsea. But I also here want to focus on Manchester City, because this performance today from Man City was a little bit concerning if you're a City fan in that first half and you see Crystal Palace go 2-0 up. Eze with the first goal, Richards with a simple header from a corner for the second goal, and then Eze scored again and was only marginally offside. And I do want to say these semi-automated offsides, I'm actually a fan from day one, from the matches I've watched. I think it's good. It's working. It's saving a load of time, saving a load of bullshit with the minors. But the comeback here from Manchester City was absolutely incredible. And it was all down to this man right here, Kevin De Bruyne, who put in an iconic Kevin De Bruyne display. Scores a goal, gets an assist, and he's playing as that false 9. It wasn't the most all-round dominant performance, but that is what Man City are going to have to find a solution for. You can't just replace Kevin De Bruyne, or maybe you can. Maybe if you go out there and you sign a Florian Wirtz, you literally can replace Kevin De Bruyne. But Man City, again, I made a video talking about this man, Omar Marmoush, who got one of the earlier goals for Manchester City today. I thought he was good again, arriving into the box. But it's a new era on the dawn now for Man City. O'Reilly scored a very good goal. McAtee as well. And he ended it with a flipping backflip. I thought what we saw from Man City today is a very classic end of the season, towards the end of the season, Man City finding a way to win. And comparatively, Nottingham Forest today offered absolutely nothing going forward and would have been lucky really to get a draw against an Everton side that dominated them. And then you've got on the flip side of that, a Man City team who are chasing Nottingham Forest down, and they've played the same amount of games. City are now 2 points behind them. And I just think this is a turning point today. As much as it's been an unbelievable season from Nottingham Forest, and no one can deny just how great they've been, this could be the game. This defeat to Everton today could be the moment that it turns. And look, they're still going to finish probably in the top 7, I think. And look, I'm not going to write them off, because even last week against Aston Villa, I was so impressed with their second half display. They deserved more from the game. But it's now just so close. Newcastle have got 2 games in hand. Newcastle win both of those. They go ahead of Forest and Man City and Villa and Chelsea. So as a Chelsea fan, I'm happy obviously that Forest haven't won today. But Aston Villa, I knew they were going to win, so I'm not even bothered about that. I'm not focused on that. But the way that Man City just turned it on in this game against Crystal Palace today, and that is a Crystal Palace team, by the way, who, yes, they didn't have Mark Guehi, but it's a Crystal Palace team that have been in such brilliant form, haven't lost away from home in the Premier League in the year 2025. But Oliver Glasner's men got absolutely schooled today by Pep Guardiola. Ruben Diaz, Edison did go off, but he once again got another assist, which puts him level with Pedro Neto for assists in the Premier League this season. It's now 4 assists for Edison. All in all, Pep Guardiola will be absolutely delighted with that. More young players coming in, getting goals as well. Kovacic also on the score sheet. But if you're a fan of Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Man City, Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Sorry that there was a couple of issues with the live editing that I was doing for this video. I want to try and get these out almost like I get out of 6 Things We Learned for Chelsea. When I'm watching these games, I'd love to get the immediate reactions so that I can get your feeling in the comments down below. Forest fans, you still going to do it? City fans, you're confident? And Aston Villa fans, like, what do you reckon? You can beat PSG or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Smack a like if you enjoyed yourself. See you later.